I think that at least one of the characters in Succession would be heavily invested into NFTs in the metaverse at this moment, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Unfortunately, yes.
And he would not be the only one
Mm-mm. Ugh,
because
ugh,
who who
ugh.
uh anyone listening after the fact to the podcast here, we are dry heaving
Mhm.
because Gucci has teamed up with Yuga Labs, the company that created the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT metaverse series family. Um, I don't even know where to start here, so please take it away.
I guess Alessandro was like, you know what? I gotta leave. I gotta get
This
out of
is it.
this a sinking ship.
Yep.
I mean, I think we mentioned this a moment ago. It seems like every company, got like kind of sobered up and
Hmm.
stopped doing this.
Yeah.
But Gucci, it just is kind of acting clueless. It's like this not only feels super irrelevant right now, but it
Hmm.
also is like aesthetically bad. It just looks aesthetically ugly to pair yourself with this. I mean,
Yeah.
they were ugly to begin with,
I think
both
yes.
figuratively and visually. And the fact that Gucci wants to combine forces, I just don't see the angle.
It's funny that you bring this up because I don't know. Have you ever watched the Folding Ideas YouTube
Yes.
channel?
Yeah, yeah. I get around. I get around, bro.
He just put out this video about Decentraland, which was like one of the many, you know, 3D metaverse
Hmm.
platforms that was out there. I think the Sandbox was another one. Obviously, Meta, Facebook had like their metaverse or whatever. And he did this whole video, this Folding Ideas guy recently, and he actually showed what it looks like inside a metaverse, one that actually exists. And I found it very interesting that as all of the hype is going on around NFTs in the metaverse, I never really saw any of this crap.
Yeah.
And it feels like the media was determined even not to show what it actually looks like in
What it
reality.
was.
And they were just reporting on the fact that these brands were doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the aim. They wanted the words on paper, the eyeballs on articles with their brand name in it, but the reality of what was actually happening when these brands were getting involved in these projects was rough.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, and I don't want to get too lost in the sauce, but it's just like
Mhm.
the metaverse was just it amounts to a video game,
Yeah,
and I don't. This isn't the type of thing. This isn't like AIs where we'll reach some kind of like exponential growth curve. It's like
right.
it's a video game. It is. It is essentially. We're just talking about virtual reality
Absolutely.
that exists. It has for years
Mhm.
there. So you're right now, all you're trying to do is pitch me something that is you're trying to pitch me Second Life, and I
Yes.
am not like I don't find that utterly remarkable. I don't
No.
know where they were going with this. They thought like it was going to explode somehow.
Yeah.
I'm
And
guys.
like Second Life, World of Warcraft, Minecraft, these are all much better metaverses than any of the actual metaverses
Yeah,
that have been made
like
are, you know?
like what the way that I think of it is this. There has to be some actual value being
Mhm.
provided for people to jump on. If
Yeah.
you're going to get like you're trying to get people into an amusement park and there is no ride. So
Mhm.
you just like you think that everybody is going to rush into Disney World without there being Space Mountain. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's like people have become so deluded where they think that they could literally it's like in Zoolander when what's his face? Ballstein says
Mhm.
he could wrap two shits in tinfoil, put fish hooks on them, and sell them to the Queen of England as earrings. That's what they thought they could do, but it does not make sense. And the fact that Gucci's involved with this, it's like utter
So
nonsense.
people got sold, all these brands got sold a false bill of goods. They got built the school for ants. They bought a
Yes.
school, and they were given a school for ants,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Clip
And
that.
it was so interesting when I was watching this folding ideas video. I should have realized this. It should have been obvious, but it didn't click for me until I saw this. He was walking around Decentraland, and he was going around to the different places like that were, I don't know the examples, but for example, like the Gucci store and the whatever experience. They All of those things are now plots of land with a contact for an advertising agency.
Huzzah!
So all of these brands that bought in, like Disney has now taken up residence in Decentraland. These were just some marketing agency pitched Disney, said, "Hey, you guys got to get in on the metaverse."
You
They
gotta
got
get
in,
it
they paid
now.
$100,000. The advertising agency did their thing. Then the contract was over. They stripped it down, and now it just belongs to the ad agency again.
Yeah. Yeah.
These things
Yeah.
never actually existed in the way that they were being pitched as.
I think that I think that the scary kind of tragedy of like
Mhm.
maybe the first part of this decade.
Mhm.
Forget the virus thing, that was made up. Don't
No,
worry
no,
about
no, no,
that.
no, no.
But that there was so much basically cryptocurrency and metaverse BS was like there was so much of the way that the economies of the new world are going to develop. It's not about being more efficient. It's not about inventing something new. It's not about like enriching people's lives. It's going to be about basically multi-level marketing. It's going to be about
Mhm.
pyramid schemes, and all they're trying to sell is all they're selling is FOMO.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think that was tragic that was like we wasted 2 years doing that.
Mhm.
And it's just like it's so dumb. Imagine if the only reason people wore clothes was because you were worried that other people was going to wear the clothes before you or something. I don't know. Trying to
I
wrap
feel
it
like
back
yeah,
to
I feel like you just
clothes.
described Instagram, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. I was hoping I would kind of go full circle and make a funny
Right.
joke, but
I mean, you just described reality.
yeah,
You
yeah.
did. How everyone's existing now. But I think so thankfully, um, most of the brands, they spent their budgets, they got no return on investment, and they're out of the
Hmm.
metaverse NFT game now. But there are some weird loan holdouts. For instance, Philip Plein, one of our favorites on this channel,
Hmm.
in Decentraland, his logo is still plastered all over the place, as I saw in that video. Um, and Gucci apparently is one who's still saying, like, we got something here. We can make this happen. And I've seen interviews. I haven't watched any because I don't want to throw up any more than I already do on a regular basis. But I see the titles of these
Yeah.
interviews that Gucci has an actual person on staff, like a,
I
VP of Meta or what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's tragic. It is tragic. And I think that to some extent, I know that Gucci, like its identity has been kind of caught up in Gucci is the aspirational brand. It
Mhm.
is the brand that exists almost to be gaudy, to be the symbol of something you're aspiring for, and
Mhm.
is a little extra. It's a little flamboyant. It is the thing that is unabashedly Gucci, in the
Right.
same way that Lamborghini is unabashedly Lamborghini.
Mhm.
Um, and so I understand that angle. And so, like, in the way that it's like the metaverse, this is all campy and corny
Mhm.
and shitty. But like, and so like maybe there is a level where Gucci's like, and yes, we should be there and we should
Mhm.
plaster our logo everywhere, and that's who we are. We're flamboyant and we're audacious, and that is why people love our brand.
Yeah.
So I understand that angle. I just think that at this point, I mean, honestly, it's just like, are the people? Do they not understand how computers work? There is no appeal to
They're
going
Italian.
on
They
there.
don't know.
Yeah,
They live in literal ivory towers. They've never touched
literal
a computer in
yes.
their life.
Literal ivory towers that the Romans built. Their
Yeah.
computers they're like steam powered computers because they're like
Yeah.
espresso machines, and they're built in the 1950s, and they're like a beautiful red enamel. And they're like,
Right.
let me a startup on my computer.
They're
It's
just
like,
like
shh.
bedazzled DOS machines that
Yeah.
all they do is just spit out like dotted matrix printer sheets of how many calves they have left on the family farm to
Yeah,
slaughter
exactly.
for their leather.
But I mean, like, honestly, it's like it's like, to me,
Hmm.
like somebody was trying to sell cars
Hmm.
in a world where there are no roads and there is no
Right.
technology to make roads and there is nobody is going out to make them, but they're like, we need to sell these cars because people are going to want to drive everywhere. But it's like, nobody invented asphalt and we don't know
Yeah.
how to make roads, and it's like jungle everywhere. Nobody wants them.
Right. It's
There
kind of,
is no point.
I think it's so precarious because I'm pretty sure what they were sold was, hey, we can get you selling these cars as the road's being built. So you're there. It's the same reason Facebook changed their name to Meta. They
Ugh.
wanted to be right there at that moment
I
to be
yeah, I,
selling the cars when the road's built, right?
I get it. I get that, but it's not
But
like
it was not true.
cars are new. It's like, so you want to jump on
Mhm.
Second Life, a like 20-year-old video game
Mhm.
that nobody's working on. Games
Mhm.
are really hard to make.
Yep.
We're basically pushing the precipice of like what we can do with that technology, and it's super expensive. It's like, where are you going with this? It's not gonna happen.
Bonkers. And I think you made a great point that like it's almost a play for that ubiquity, right? That they're that all-encompassing nature that Gucci does so well when they're doing it well. Um, but there's a real danger. I was just reading about this that in a way it's actually easy to work your brand when you're working off scarcity.
Mm.
But trying to succeed within ubiquity is actually a much trickier thing to do because then you lose this, you know, I don't know, the coolness almost.
Yeah, yeah.